Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I have been injured for 14 years, and over the last 14 years, I have endured a lot. And in today's video, I have compiled a list of 5 things that drive me crazy as a person with a disability. So grab a snack and let's get started. So I'm popping in with just a little disclaimer. This video is meant to be somewhat silly and, a list of just a few things that drive me crazy. But I want to remind you guys that this is my list and it could be different for someone else with a disability. Every disability is different and certainly every spinal cord injury is different. So this is just my list and how I feel. Everyone could be different. All right, number 1, the price of accessible vehicles. This drives me crazy and blows my mind. If you are looking at purchasing an accessible van yourself, you are easily spending between $40,000 and $80,000. And the $40,000 price range isn't even a brand new one. It's for a used vehicle. I think that is absolutely crazy. But what's even crazier is the cost of renting one. So I've been injured for 14 years and I've never had the luxury of owning my own accessible van, which is like a dream come true to me. So if I need an accessible van, I'm stuck renting, and the prices for a rental are outrageous. So when I rent one just for the weekend to go down and see family, I am spending $500. And that's just on the rental. That's not even including gas. So it is just mind-blowing to me why it is that expensive. I mean, I would say most people with a disability is on a fixed income. So they can't afford to be spending $500 a weekend on a van rental. So that just leaves them either stuck or using public transportation. And public transportation does not get you everywhere. I think this is outrageous and absolutely needs to be fixed. Next, number 2, airplanes. This has been absolutely mind-boggling to me since I have been disabled. Why in 2024 can I not just drive onto an airplane like I do a bus? They should have designated sections for people in wheelchairs so we can just drive on, strap me down, and take off. Why does it have to be such a hassle to get onto an airplane? So for someone like me that has very little movement, there's so many steps. It's like, first we have to transfer me out of my wheelchair into this little tiny wheelchair looking thing. It's called an aisle chair, but they transfer me into that. Then they strap me in, and then from there they have to wheel me into the airplane and then down the aisles. Then they have to lift me again, and so many planes do not have armrests that flip up, so you have to just lift me up and over the armrest. It is crazy to me. The first time I ever traveled after my injury and they lifted me like that, because when they do it, they go underneath my shoulders and another one goes underneath my knees, and then they just do like a big transfer over. Well, my muscles in my shoulders were not very strong because I had just been injured and had been in the hospital for 5 months. So when they lifted me, it dislocated my shoulder and it was so painful. This just seems like a giant headache that does not need to be even a thing. Like, let me just drive on in my wheelchair, strap me down, and let's get in the air. Another thing about airplanes is they are notorious for breaking my wheelchair. I don't know if they don't understand like how important they are to me and other people that use them, but it's basically our feet. So they break them all the time. I have been so lucky to do a lot of traveling since I've been injured, but I cannot count on both hands the number of times they have broken my wheelchair. As well as the first time that I ever traveled, they laid my wheelchair on its side and broke both of the motors and then had to fork out I think it was like $5,000 to get them fixed. Just such a headache. And airlines, if you're listening to me, please get your shit together. It's 2024. Next, number 3. Now this really grinds my gears. We're going to talk about marriage and marriage inequality when it comes to people with disabilities. So you might think that there is all kinds of marriage equality in 2024, and we certainly are moving in the right direction. You know, I say this as a gay man, but it's different when you have someone that is disabled. So in 2024, if I marry someone and they make decent money, I, just by marrying them, will lose my healthcare and my disability funding. That to me is so wrong. That should not exist because that keeps two loving people from being able to get married just because of someone's disability. In my opinion, that is wrong. There was legislation happening on Capitol Hill, I know a couple years ago. Clearly hasn't moved very far because this is still a very real thing for people with disabilities, and this needs to change. I would love to be able to go talk to people on Capitol Hill about this because this is so important to me and really means a lot because we do not have true marriage equality until it encompasses everybody. So there is no reason that two loving people should not be allowed to get married just because one of them has a disability and it will affect their whole livelihood. You know, with a disability comes a lot of medical expenses, so our healthcare is really important to us. So it is totally wrong that marriage should stand between us, love, and good healthcare. Next, number 4. This one grinds my gears like no other. Restaurants that say online they're accessible, and when you get there, there's like 3 steps to get inside. This is so annoying. So, as someone with a disability, I always have to do my due diligence and plan ahead because there are so many places that are not accessible. And so when I look online and it says accessible, and I show up and there is a step or their bathroom is the size of a closet and I cannot get my wheelchair in there, it makes me so mad. It's like, hello, update online, or don't say you're accessible if you're really not. I know that there are a lot of old buildings that are not able to be accessible, and I totally understand that. I won't go there if it doesn't say they're accessible because I'm not going to be able to get in. But when something says that you're accessible and you're not, that is when I have a problem and it drives me crazy. So let's update these so that we can all know where we're going and know if we can get in or not. Next, number 5. Last but certainly not least, the joy of insurance. So, as someone with a disability, I rely on my insurance a lot. And the medical field, as we know, moves at the pace of a snail. And as someone with a disability, that can become a real problem, especially when I need medical equipment or a new wheelchair or, the list goes on and on of things I require as someone with a disability. So I'm going to just use one example of many. Last summer, I needed a new cushion for my wheelchair. I was having skin issues and I needed a different kind of cushion that was like molded to my butt basically so that it fit me better. Well, I go in there in June and I do the molding and then they say, okay, this will be ready at the end of August. And I'm like, this does not make sense to me. Like, I know it takes a while to get things made, but 3 months? Come on now. And especially as my skin issues are getting worse, I don't have 3 months. By then, I'll be in the hospital. Like, I need these things ASAP. It just drives me crazy how insurance works and how slow the medical field is. Another thing is my wheelchair. We're only eligible for a new wheelchair every 5 years. That, in my mind, is crazy because it would be like you having the same pair of shoes for 5 years that you wear every day, everywhere. It is just not feasible. These things break down so quick. And I think a lot of that is because we use them 24/7, and it's just the wear and tear of everyday use. So these have been a small list of things that drive me bonkers as someone with a disability. Now, this video probably could have been 12 hours long with over 100 things, but I decided to keep it short and sweet and just do 5. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe. Hit that bell icon so that you get notified every single time I upload a video. And if you enjoy my content, think about hitting the thumbs up button. It really helps out the channel a lot. I will see you guys in my next video. Have a good one. Bye.